Is Esther Nwachukwu, and these are the top stories. Vice President Kashim Shettima claims Nigeria in a big mess. Wike strikes as FCTA demolishes multi-million naira duplex in Abuja. Labour Party raises alarm over invasion of party secretariats. Chicago State University locks Twitter account, that is X account now, as Nigerians intensify pressure over President Tinubu's CSU records. And United Nations chief condemns arrest of observers in Zimbabwe's elections. Details now. Vice President Kashim Shettima has urged Taiwo Oyedele-led Presidential Committee on Fiscal Policy Tax Reforms to be fast and develop a robust roadmap that will change the country's economic fortune. In a tweet on Monday evening, August 28, the Vice President disclosed that he received the committee led by its chairman at the Presidential Villa in Abuja and made the call. While expressing confidence in the committee to come up with the best brain for the job, Vice President Shettima believed that the task of reviving Nigeria's economy is enormous. The former senator maintained that the committee needed to fast-track the repositioning of our economy by addressing some fundamental issues relating to the fiscal and tax policies, stating that they are important to the realization of the economic importance of any country. He further stated that Nigeria has been chained with bad governance and confronted with many challenges. However, he believes President Bola Tinubu is courageous and committed, stating that his principle is progressive. The Vice President tweeted, and I read, "I believe you will come up with a roadmap to salvage our nation. We're in a big mess, but I have confidence in your team. This is a great nation chained by poor governance, chained by many challenges, and my principal is a man of courage and conviction. He is a progressive man in the Nigerian political space." In the meantime, the Federal Capital Territory Administration on Monday demolished a multi-million naira duplex built on plot 226 cadastral zone in Wuse Zone 6 on unapproved land. Galadima said that the building was illegally developed against all warnings, stating further that his team had carried out an extensive investigation to ascertain the original owner of the plot, given varying claims that they were both put forth by parties. Recall shortly after the FCT Minister Nyesom Wike was sworn in by President Tinubu, he vowed that the FCT administration will bring down all buildings that contravene the FCT master plan. Speaking further, the FCTA director noted that investigations revealed that the developer was not the owner of the plot, and that is why he had to remove the building. He corroborated Wike's warning by adding that the FCT administration will not consider the status of any defaulting developer once development rules and regulations are violated. According to the Whistler, Galadima revealed the building was said to belong to the late Alake of Egbaland, Oba Oye Ilikpede, but was taken over by Ibrahim Kamba and Ademuteku, who constructed the duplex against all warnings. Now, the Labour Party has again raised alarm over an attack on its party secretariat in Owerri, the Imo State capital, by suspected thugs and policemen allegedly acting at the behest of the state government. National Publicity Secretary of the party, Obiora Ifo, raised the alarm in Abuja yesterday. According to him, during the early hours of Monday, that is the 28th of August, the Imo State Secretariat of the Labour Party was once more attacked by the police and thugs, allegedly on the directives of the state government. He explained that the state chairman of the Labour Party, Barrister Callistus Ijeoma, had earlier sent an SOS to the public pleading with Nigerians to come to the aid of the party, which at the time was at the mercy of the attackers, who comprised of over 100 thugs and the accompanying men of the police force. Ifo further explained that when the state chairman confronted the assailants, they said they were under directives by the state government to pull down Peter Obi and Senator Athan's billboards, but particularly that of Obi. The party recalled that early last week, the Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi led a crowd of party faithfuls and supporters, including Abia State Governor Dr. Alex Oti and Labour Party members of the National Assembly, to formally inaugurate the governorship campaign of its candidate, Senator Ethan Achonu. Now let's listen to Barrister Callistus Ijeoma, the Imo State Labour Party chair. right, we seem to have a situation with the audio right there. We will try as much as possible to take a playback of that. Meanwhile, I actually have in the studio CP Chuks Enwonwu. He is one of our analysts today, and of course, a retired commissioner of police. CP Chuks Enwonwu, thank you for being part of the World News at 12 right here on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. I sincerely do appreciate you coming right here in the studio. This is not the first time that the Labour Party is complaining about some measures being taken against it, especially in Imo State by the state governor, Hope Uzodinma. And some persons would say that they are not surprised with this development. I'll actually like us to listen to this particular audio because I want us to understand precisely what we're in for and why anytime elections are coming up, the presiding state political party in charge at the time almost acts like no other political party can try as much as possible to, in a fair setting, contest elections. Let's take a listen once again. I do hope this time we have a good audio.
Labour Party office yesterday. Yesterday, we woke up to a very horrible and terrifying experience where our state secretariat was invaded by men working for the government under the hideout of INSA. They invaded our office with more than 500 thugs and 50 policemen. When I spoke with the SA, the person who claimed to be in charge, one Honorable Innocent Afamefuna, he said that they have orders from above to demolish and every features in our state secretariat, including P2B's banner. The billboard we have contains P2B, contains Senator Atan Atono, and they say they have orders to remove it. They have orders to remove Labour Party flags, and so they removed everything that was affixed in our office, vandalized it, and carted away with those things. Beat up some of our men who were trying to record what and seize their phones. What happened was that in the morning around after 8, I got a call from one of our staff that some men are in the office. They were carrying guns. That they're in the office. They said they want to remove P2B's banner. They want to remove the Labour Party flags and all those things. So I quickly rushed to that place, to the state secretariat, with my secretary, the state secretary, Engineer Pauline Usudechukwu. Both of us rushed to the place, and when we went, we saw a lot of them. There was commotion, and I asked, what is the problem? They say we are not authorized to put P2B's banner. We are not authorized to put a Labour Party flag. We are not authorized to put the picture of our candidate. I said, this is State Secretariat of Labour Party. Is there any problem? They said, that there is a law that requires us to ₦1 million before we can put the P2B's picture, and before we can hoist Labour Party flag, before we can put that of our candidate. I told them that we are not aware. We are not served with any notice. They said, okay, I should come to their office immediately. I appealed to them that my daughter is sick. I was heading to buy medicine for my daughter when I got that distress call. That they should please give me till 1 o'clock so that I will come to their office. They agreed and left. I walked straight to the pharmacy to buy medicine for my daughter. While I was there, 30 minutes after, I got another distress call from my staff that they have reinforced with more number of thugs, with more number of police, and they are already demolishing things. I looked at my time. It was few minutes past 12. It was not even 1 o'clock yet. I quickly rushed back and met the man who claimed to be the head of IMSA. I said, where is our honor? We agreed here that I will come to your office by 1. And I was just finishing buying drugs for my daughter to start coming to your office. Now people have breached our agreement to come and start demolishing things. What is going on? He told me that the thing is above him. He has an order to demolish all these things here. I said, that means you are now persecuting Labour Party. You are no longer carrying your functions as government officials, because if we say we are coming to your office to discuss and you have order from above apparently from the state government, Hope Uzodinma, to demolish those things. You know what happened, my brother? Since P2B came to Imo State for the flag, done to PDP, nothing is done to AA and other opposition political parties. It is Labour Party, because they know that Imo is Labour, because they know that Labour Party is enjoying overwhelming support from Imolites. You can send your reporters to PDP campaign office, to AA and other political parties. They have all the flags and all the banners there. Nothing has happened to it. But immediately we put our own. Mind you, these things they demolished yesterday was put on Monday. And yesterday, Tuesday, they were around. Because of P2B's popularity, because of Labour Party popularity, they are jittered and they are persecuting us. Let the whole world hear that Labour Party Imo State is under serious attack from Hope Uzodinma and APC government.
All right.
As I'm speaking to you now, I'm speaking from a saying that as we speak now, they are after my life. The Ebubago people have been detailed to go after me. Yesterday, they came to the party secretariat in the mid-afternoon after the whole saga had ended. They still came with 4 vehicles. They said they are looking for the chairman. My staff called me and said, please don't come to the office. So Ebubago people are looking for you. So my life is under serious threat. Let the whole world know if anything happens to me, Hope Uzodinma should be held responsible. Labour Party, we are law abiding. We have not infringed on the law. I don't know why we are being targeted for extermination, for persecution, and for intimidation. Labour Party is not the only opposition party in Imo State, but we have been singled out, particularly since after the visit.
All right, that was Barrister Callistus Ihejagwa, the Imo State Labour Party chair. I introduced earlier in the studio that I had CP Chuks Enwonwu, who is a retired commissioner of police. CP Chuks, thank you for being part of us in the World News at 12. Also, I have Cyril Abaku. Cyril Abaku is a producer, a political enthusiast, and a social affairs commentator. Cyril, good afternoon and welcome to the World News at 12.
Very good afternoon to you, Esther.
All right, I'm going to start with you, Cyril. The question is, why is it that anytime elections are about to take place in this part of the world, not just Nigeria, Africa in general, or some West African countries, you have the reigning administration or the party in charge always have a form of intimidation to other political towards other political parties. This is not the first time we're hearing about the secretariat of the Labour Party either being attacked, being burnt, or one or the officials, being molested in any form. What's your take on this?
Well, Esther...
No, I was asking CP because CP was... I introduced him earlier. Thank you.
I'm not surprised by this development, but it's very unfortunate and sad that at this point in time, we still have this type of gangsterism repeating itself. The people are free to exercise their franchise and vote for whoever they want to govern them. By the conduct of the Imo State government, it is very, very glaring that the people are being persecuted, they are being harassed, they are being intimidated. It's an ominous sign and a very bad handwriting on the wall. And the government have to take this seriously, especially from the federal government, from the center. They should ensure that there's a level playing ground for all the political parties. A situation where already they are G3 and they want to grab the power by all means is highly unacceptable by any decent standard. Therefore, it behoves on the government to call that governor to order, because what he's asking for is anarchy. He's not the only one going for an election. There are 3 other elections that are coming up. We have one in Bayelsa, we have one in Kogi, and we have one in Imo. We are expecting that within the next 2-3 months. They should be fair and be ready to, since they are in government already, if they have proven to the people that they delivered on the dividends of democracy, the people will come and vote for them. It is not something that they will do by force, by intimidation. And the way it's going, possibly they have the intention to manipulate the results of the election. And that should not be accepted, because the consequences will be very dire, not only for Imo State. It will spiral into something that the nation, it will be catastrophic from what I'm foreseeing.
All right. Thank you, CP Chooks. Mr. Cyril, in Imo State particularly, ever since Hope Uzodinma assumed that governorship position, it's been one situation or the other. It almost felt like the state became a state that a couple of persons who knew how Imo State used to be, nobody could actually recognize the state. The state became a beehive of a lot of security concerns. It became quite volatile. Now, you have a governor who is a governor of a particular state and doesn't reside in that state. You govern the state from Abuja because you're not secure in the state that you're meant to govern. Now, the elections are coming up in Imo in November, precisely November, and you are ordering Ebubagu's security outfit, his security outfit, along with some policemen to brandish the building. No reasons given, no notification, whatever. Why do we continue to have such situations whenever elections are coming up from the reigning administration or the party in charge?
So I think, Esther, thanks for having me on your news. Let's make a few things very clear.
Okay.
The abuse of incumbency in Nigeria is not new. Now, the situation is sort of worse in the Imo scenario for the singular reason that a leader, a governor, a president, whosoever, but in the case of Imo, a governor who didn't become governor by the ballot, does not understand what it means to derive power from that source. Obuzodinma became governor because the Supreme Court said he should become governor. He didn't become governor because he won the popular vote. So when somebody didn't win the popular vote, I think he has not yet understood the connection of being in power and deriving that power from the people directly. And so if anybody is posing a threat of being more suitable, being more favored to derive power from the people, it will become, it becomes some kind of threat, really. So there's a disparity. There's a crisis of identity of saying, this power from the people, how will it even come? Because in the first place, he became governor from the Supreme Court. And so now going back to renew that power, not from the Supreme Court, but from the ballot, I think there's a bit of a dissonance. Now, the question is, like CP Chooks had said earlier, can we, in all sincerity, provide a level playing field for all the candidates? If we can, our politics will be fixed and all else can follow. But for as long as our politics is not in good place, I can assure you that no dividend of democracy will be seen coming. It won't come because power is not coming from the people. When a governor knows that he got power from the people, he knows he owes them and he will do everything he or she can to service them, to serve them, to give them the dividend so that they will continue to give that power back to him. But for as long as that power didn't come from people, you don't expect him to do better than what we're seeing now.
I will make reference to this conversation because there is something similar that transpired in Zimbabwe currently and another one too in Gabon. I'll make reference to that, but we still have other stories to look at. Now, the Chicago State University has locked its X microblogging handle, X is formerly known as Twitter, from the general public as Nigerians intensify pressure on President Bola Tinubu's controversial certificate from the institution, with a padlock icon appearing on their account. A check by People's Gazette on Monday showed that only confirmed followers of the institution could see its tweets now, contrary to how it was before. So there is a notification telling the general public that the institution had locked its X handle from the general public, and it reads, "These posts are protected. Only confirmed followers have access to our Chicago State post and complete profile. Tap the follow button to send a follow request." The Gazette also could not verify why a motion to prevent a federal court in the United States from releasing his academic records to his principal opponent in the 2023 presidential tertiary institutions. Now, the institution had claimed that a clerk was responsible for irregularities, which characterized a certificate the school reprinted in Mr. Tinubu's name, according to some court filings. Now, amid the legal tussle in the U.S., Mr. Abubakar, that is the presidential candidate of the PDP, on Sunday mocked Mr. Tinubu, asking him to reveal how he obtained a degree from Chicago University without attending primary and secondary school. Now, that tweet actually sparked a variety of reactions. I'm going to start with you, Siri, because I know you have a lot of things to do. Now, apparently, the school has locked their Twitter account. They said Nigerians have disturbed. They've literally bombarded them with so much questions. It seems the school is now confused about this particular record. So they've banned, anyone from having access to their account to ask questions. And you need to follow the university in order to read any post on it. What's your take on that?
No, the school didn't have to do what it did, because eventually it will still open its Twitter account. It will still answer questions. For me, I think let's watch how the court cases play out. What the president said, last week was that a clerk made the mistake in, get the wrong logo. Everything that was wrong with the certificate came from a clerk. The investor has not said that they didn't have such a clerk. They can come clean with that. I think that beyond the legal ramifications of what is going on, the school also owes the public a moral burden to come clear and and state very clearly what it knows about it, so that the whole thing about back and forth.
Now, that's a question. Why the mental gymnastics?
Yeah, but the question is even so. Why do you shut your ex account? Why do you block? Why do you block the comment section or something like that? Why don't you come clean on this matter? Like I said, if you make a request for something, that's legal. But given the up tempo, given the surge of interest in what is going on, I think the school now owes the public a moral burden, or at least owes Nigerians a moral burden, because its alumni has become president of
what Nigerians are questioning. What is the shroud about? What's your response to that?
Well, the thing is that just like Cyril stated earlier, there is a lot that is being hidden, but we want the thing to come up open. I mean, a situation where, like you rightly pointed out, where are his classmates? Primary school, nail. Which secondary school? Nail. Stories, back and forth. The same applies to Chicago State University. So whatever it is, at the nick of time, Nigerians will get to know that facts that is hidden. They already know what the outcome will be, but let it come up officially.
Okay.
That's what everybody is waiting for.
All right.
So whatever game they are playing back and forth is they are just playing on time, taking cognizance of what is happening at the presidential election petition court, and the outcome, which we are expecting on or before the 16th of September.
Well, the court has said they had not fixed any date yet.
No, they didn't fix a specific date, but that's a deadline that will mark the 180 days.
Yes. All right, now let's go to Zimbabwe, where the UN Secretary General has expressed concerns, and his name is Antonio Guterres. He's expressed concerns about the arrest of observers and reports of voter intimidation, threats of violence, harassment, and coercion in Zimbabwe's elections. Now, Stefan Dujarric, the spokesman for the Secretary General, during a news conference yesterday at the UN headquarters in New York, said Mr. Guterres closely followed developments in the country's elections. Citizens went to the polls on Wednesday, but voting was extended into Thursday in some areas, including the capital, Harare, due to lack of ballot papers. President Emerson Mnangagwa secured a second 5-year term in results announced late on Sunday. His party, ZANU-PF, has been in power since 1980, following the end of white minority rule in southern African country formerly known as Rhodesia. Mr. Mnangagwa, 80 of age, received more than 52% of the vote, according to media reports, while the opposition candidate Nelson Chamisa, 45 years of age, received 44%. However, his party, the Coalition for Change, they rejected the results. Now, I want to take you, remember I said I was going to refer back to this concerning the email election, even the general elections that took place. Now, also in Gabon, there was an internet blackout as results were being awaited during the presidential presidential election. The internet blackout was still in force, with the government saying it is meant to avoid the spread of calls for violence and false information following presidential elections that transpired, or rather that took place on Saturday. The government cut off the internet on Saturday evening and put a curfew in place. They cited the risk of violence as voting drew to a close in the race between incumbent Ali Bongo Ondiba and his opponent Albert Ondo Osa. So here again, these are Central African countries.
Yes.
This is Nigeria that is meant to be the big brother, where these countries look up to emulate whatever it is they do, particularly democratical processes for elections. And we're seeing similar patterns: voter intimidation, voter apathy, government.
And the same thing repeated itself in 1983 that made Major General Buhari then take over government on 31st of December 1983. We are at it again. I thought that by now we would have learned our lessons. Like you said, Gabon and Zimbabwe are looking up to us. And it is the example we have set, or what we have taught them, is exactly what they are doing. And I hope, well, while we await the results of the tribunal, I hope we will address our minds, whether by reorientation or whatever, to the experiences we have had in the First and Second Republic. Because if such things continue, I doubt whether this democracy, this present democracy, will grow further.
That's unfortunate.
It is a very unfortunate
scenario. Mr. Siri, what do you have to say?
No, so for example, specifically in Zimbabwe, the ZANU-PF will not lose an election. Anybody thinking about that must be dreaming. Emerson Mnangagwa was the backbone of Robert Mugabe. The only reason Mugabe was ousted was because Mugabe now wanted to hand power over to his wife Grace, which they said no, we fought with you in the trenches. You cannot bring your wife into this matter. The same things Mugabe did are the same things Mnangagwa is doing. I mean, anybody could have seen this. We are in Mugabe's time. People won election. I'm surprised that they won election. They won it because they were in the ZANU-PF party. Full stop. Now, in the case of what's his name, they won in Gabon.
Gabon, yes.
Where they turned off the internet services.
Yes.
No, but in sincerity, CP should talk about democratic culture, which is what I would wrap with. There has not been any evidence, maybe except in Zambia, where we now have Hakainde Hichilema become president. But there has not been credible evidence that because the opposition won elections, things now began to turn around. In Nigeria, we were being told that the people was the worst that ever happened to us in Nigerian history. The APC came into power. What has happened?
Seems like it's
so there's no guarantee. Really. What we need to do is to evolve democratic culture. Anybody that wins should win because people voted for the person to win. And then let's give this thing time. Democracy grows through. America has done this for more than 200 years. It grows through to hope that you're promising heaven and earth and you come into office and you want to. It doesn't work that they can be. But in Nigeria, you can't do that. Why?
All right. Thank you so much, Cyril Abako. CP Chooks, thank you so much for your contribution on the World News at 12. I sincerely do appreciate your input. To wrap up the World News at 12, here again are the top stories. You heard Vice President Kashim Shettima claims Nigeria in a big mess. Wike strikes as FCTA demolishes multi-million naira duplex in Abuja. Labour Party raises alarm over invasion of party secretariat. Chicago State University locks X account as Nigerians intensify pressure over President Tinubu's CSU records, and UN chief condemns arrest of observers in Zimbabwe's election. That's a wrap on the World News at 12. My name is Esther Wachuku. Good afternoon. Thank you for staying with us. Up next is Matters with Ikami Judah.